Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today I've got a small stack of book mail for you. So first off, the first two books I've got were sent to me by Cameron Chaney. Cameron was my secret Santa. All right. He sent me a lot of other stuff too besides the books. I'm not going to show those off because what happened was, and I believe this was for anybody that wanted to participate. But anyway, Marie McWilliams, she kind of curated this thing for a Secret Santa where we picked names or had names picked for us, and we would buy a gift for that person that we got picked, and then somebody else would buy one for us. And, I'm sure at certain points that somebody got the same person back and forth or whatever. Anyway, that's beside the point. But anyway, Marie is going to make a video where she presents all of us opening our gifts, and we try to guess who our Secret Santa is before the end of the video. And so I don't want to show everything off, but I did ask her if I could show the books off, and she said that would be grand. Those were her exact words. She said that would be grand. Yes. Anyway, the first one I've got is by Paul Michael Anderson, and this is called Standalone. They are killers. They are monsters. They are evil. They stalk through summer camps, abandoned hospitals, rundown schools, and isolated houses, hunting anyone foolish enough to visit these places, leaving behind carnage, terror, death, and destruction. Sometimes there are survivors. Always there is blood. And they do it to protect and preserve all of existence across the multiverse. But now they are the ones being stalked and hunted, and life as we know it hangs in the balance unless they figure out a way to survive. And it's published by Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing. That's one that I've never heard of. But anyway, that is Standalone, and this is by Paul Michael Anderson. And I had to be careful not to say Paul Thomas Anderson. He's the film director of There Will Be Blood, Magnolia, Boogie Nights, and such, Punch Drunk Love, and all that. Next one from Cameron, I got Tribesman by Adam Cesar. Is it Caesar or Cesar? I'm going to say Cesar. I may be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, Tribesman. 30 years ago, cynical, sleazeball director Tito Bronze took a tiny cast and crew to a desolate island. His goal, to exploit the local tribes, spray some guts around, cash in on the 80s Italian cannibal craze. But the vengeful spirits of the island had other ideas, and before long, guts were squirting behind the scenes as well, while the cameras kept rolling. And that is Adam Cesar's Tribesman. This sounds like it is a tribute, and it does say on the back, I'm kind of cheating, but this is a tribute kind of to the films of Lucio Fulci and also to the movie Cannibal Holocaust. So, yeah, here we go. Tribesman. All right, next up, and this is from Eric LaRocca. Eric wrote me on Instagram. He said he really appreciated the fact that I bought a copy of his book, or of his novella, Starving Ghost in Every Thread. Asked me if I would be interested in receiving a copy of his to-be-published novelette or novella, A Bright Enchanted Suffering. And that is exactly what that is a Bright Enchanted Suffering. And I really appreciate that. Thank you, Eric. And that cover, wow. What is going on with this cover? I mean, what is she covered? What is she? It looks like a male. It looks like they're covered in roots. Really interesting cover, isn't it? An Invitation to Terror in Broad Daylight. Author Eric LaRocca brings together two chilling, never-before-published novelettes which explored the darker aspects of humanity, a world in which horrible things can and will happen in the light of day. And that's it. That's all it says. Now, there's some praise, but the praise is kind of covered up, so that's why I'm not reading it. But the two stories, and he even signed this, and if I can get the glare off of this sucker, to John, let the suffering begin. Best wishes, Eric LaRocca, down here. And the two stories are called You're Not Supposed to Be Here and Where Flames Burned Emerald as Grass. That's an interesting title. I like that title. That's so cool. And that is A Bright Enchanted Suffering by Eric LaRocca. Alrighty, now this next one, and I'm going to mark on the thing that's starting at 5:05. Trigger warning, there is talk of suicide in this book, and I will be talking of suicide here right now. Well, in the synopsis. But anyway, the book is Chapel Street. And I saw this advertised, I think, on the author's website. And I wrote him and told him on Instagram, I said, this book sounds really awesome, really interesting. He said, I can send you a copy. And I'm like, well, thank you. And he did. So thank you to Sean Paul Murphy. And again, this is Chapel Street. And it says The Conjuring meets Hereditary. It had me right there. Really right there, all right? Rick Baco's never had a chance at happiness. After enduring the tragic death of his father in a car accident, Rick grew up to helplessly watch both his older brother Lenny and his mother Agnes succumb to madness and suicide. Nor were they the first members of his family to kill themselves. Suicide has steadily stalked the Baco's family since they first arrived in Baltimore from Bohemia at the turn of the 20th century. Turning to genealogy to better understand his self-destructive family, Rick works as a volunteer for the website Resting Place. After photographing the grave of Betty Caustic for the webpage, Rick finds himself drawn into a maelstrom of horror. Each night he finds himself inexorably drawn closer to self-destruction. Rick's only ally is a fellow volunteer named Terry Puskaseel. She, too, has fallen under the suicidal spell of the late Betty Caustic. The couple soon discovers their pairing was a coincidence. Their great-grandparents were next-door neighbors on Chapel Street nearly a century earlier. So were Betty's grandparents. Together, Rick and Terry must solve the mystery of Chapel Street before they find death at their own hands. And that is Chapel Street. That's by Sean Paul Murphy. And if you're watching, thank you, Sean, for sending me that. Last two books I have here was sent to me by Silver Shamrock Publishing, and these are books they sent to me in exchange for honest reviews. So the first one we have, and I love the cover on this book, the shading, the blue shading, and the wolf. I think I've said before I love wolves, so yeah. And this is the Lupin Project, and this is by Alan Leverone. When 18-year-old high school senior Eddie Senna drives down a long-abandoned logging trail with his girlfriend, all he's looking for is a little privacy. What he finds instead is a horror beyond all imagination, because the logging trail ends just behind the Tamerlane Research Facility, a super-secret lab where experiments in animal neural conditioning are being conducted. And the animals have gotten loose. And they're far more intelligent and far more deadly than anyone realizes. After an unthinkable tragedy, it falls to Eddie's girlfriend, Alicia, and older brother Rob to undertake a desperate search for answers. But a very powerful person is determined to cover up the details of the tragedy. That person is vicious and immoral, and he's closing in on Alicia and Rob. And that is The Lupin Project by Alan Leverone. That sounds really awesome. And sometimes I think the guys at Silver Shamrock, I think they can read my mind, because I saw the book advertised on Instagram and was it Facebook? No, it wasn't Facebook, because I barely use Facebook. So it must have been Instagram. It was probably also Twitter. And I thought, oh man, I would love to read this. And then boom, it's in the mailbox. So thank you guys. Thank you very much. Last but not least, I have from Chad Lutzke. And this is actually my first time reading anything by Chad Lutzke. As far as the novel or novella is concerned, I think I've read some short stories, but I'm not sure. I don't know for sure. Anyway, this is, and also co-written with Tim Meyer, this is Wormwood. For some kids, Long Lake, Georgia is home, but for 14-year-old Baker Gray, it's just another stop, another town, and another state. Because of his mother's nomadic lifestyle, he's never had a best friend, never kissed a girl, and he's certainly never met anyone like Cassandra Larson, the enigmatic older girl whose idea of fun blurs the line between right and wrong. Being hopelessly led by emotions he's never felt, Baker finds himself plodding along dark paths paved by the girl he thinks he may love, a road to self-destruction where vigilante justice is encouraged and bloodshed is an art form. And that is Wormwood. And that's going to do it. That is my stack of book mail for today, or that I've recently received. Thank you guys for watching. This video is going to post on Friday, tomorrow, at about 2:30 p.m. like most of my videos do. In fact, like all of my videos have been doing lately. So until then, thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you later. Bye.